Concert Hall and Northwestern celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Please take a moment to silence all cell phones and electronic devices. Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome to this commemoration of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday and life and acts. I invite you all now to stand with us while we in the crowd sing Let Every Voice.
Liberty.
That was our University Chorale, one of our premier performing ensembles in the School of Music, conducted by Professor Robert Harris. They are joined by our Professor Cheryl Milnes, distinguished member of our NU voice faculty, and by our Erin Bandholzer, an oboist. It's my pleasure now to introduce our distinguished chairman of our Board of Trustees, Mr. Patrick G. Ryan. He has served for more than 10 years as chairman of Northwestern University's Board of Trustees. He is also the chairman of the Aon Corporation. Pat.
Thank you, Henry. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I very much appreciate the opportunity to be here today representing Northwestern's Board of Trustees and to share in the celebration of one of our country's great leaders. Just as Northwestern's first trustees who founded this university more than 150 years ago were men of conviction and vision, so too was Dr. King. And just as those men acted on their vision, so too did Dr. King. Northwestern stands today as one of the premier universities in the country as a result of their hard work, along with the work of thousands who followed and who were inspired by their leadership. The United States today is a more diverse, more inclusive nation because of the millions who have been inspired by Dr. King's leadership. Today's celebration of Dr. King reflects the strength and breadth of the diversity that exists here at Northwestern. I invite you to share with us in the celebration today of Dr. King's life and legacy and reflect on his vision, his leadership, and his inspiration. Again, thank you for coming and joining us in this very important celebration. I'm now pleased to introduce Lorraine Morton, Mayor of the City of Evanston and a proud Northwestern alumna. Mayor Morton.
Thank you very much. President Bina, when the cameras show what is happening here today, please reflect that this graduate of Northwestern who is speaking to you today is dressed in purple. I'd like to thank you, President Beenan, for the opportunity to join with Northwestern University to celebrate the birth of this country's greatest civil rights leader. But this occasion is geared to more than that. It is to illuminate for students a message of one man's efforts to right a wrong and to find ways for this country, as Dr. King said, to live up to its creed. But I would be remiss if I did not point out that Martin Luther King's success was due to the factor that he captured the moment in time. Southerners had been planning a mass movement for change, a change that was focused on the right to vote and getting rid of the poll tax. It was a moment in time that was ripe for change. Yet, there were similar situations that could have sparked a movement, but the time was not ripe. Prior to the bus incident in Montgomery, there were two similar public bus cases. The first involved Elizabeth Jennings, who lived in New York in the 1850s. Though she sought her rights through the courts and was awarded a $225 assessment afterwards, there was no mass movement in support of her cause. It was not the moment in time. Then there was Irene Morgan, who lived in Virginia and also experienced a similar fate as Rosa Parks. This was in 1944. Irene was charged with resisting arrest and violating Virginia law. She was found guilty, but her lawyers took the case to the Supreme Court that ruled that the law was illegal. Yet, it was not society's moment in time for a civil rights movement such as that led by Martin Luther King, the one who captured that moment in time and was courageous enough to make use of it. I applaud Northwestern University's strength to capture this moment in time by using the birthday of Martin Luther King Jr. to place the mantle of leadership on its students, to capture this moment in time to help our country live up to its creed. Again, thank you, President Beenan, for consistently reaching out to the city of Evanston, as did Northwestern University in 1863, when this university gave birth to the city of Evanston. I thank you, President Beenan, for reaching out to the city of Evanston to close ranks with Northwestern University for the betterment of Evanston and for the betterment of your students who are also true citizens of the city of Evanston. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan, and thank you, Mayor Morton. Mayor Morton proves you can be both a great leader of Evanston and wear purple at the same time. We're very good friends. I want to now add my welcome to you all, and most especially to our distinguished keynote speaker, Mr. Nfume. I want to thank the Martin Luther King Day Planning Committee for developing such a strong program. Over the course of this week, on both the Evanston and Chicago campuses of the university, a number of programs provide opportunities to remember, to celebrate, and to act on behalf of the goals of justice, inclusion, and diversity. Classes do not meet between 11 and 2 p.m. today to make possible all members of the community to participate in our university-wide commemorations. The values championed by Martin Luther King Jr. include nonviolence, civility, equality, freedom, and respect for each individual's worth, a passion for justice, fairness, equal treatment under the law, persistence in the face of adversity, and deep compassion for people. We ask ourselves, have we been true as a university and as individuals to these ideals? The real test of dedication to values and principles is found in day-to-day life. We continue to challenge ourselves at Northwestern to incorporate these values in pursuing the highest order of excellence. We recognize that tensions and contradictions in our lives and ambitions can obstruct our aspirations in the pursuit of Martin Luther King's dreams. Hurricane Katrina's aftermath is a sobering and tragic reminder of our society's continuing imperfections. Martin Luther King Jr. gave his life as a witness that these imperfections should not be the last word. So we must continue to hope and strive for a future that transforms his dreams of justice into reality. This can only be done through the choices we make and how we act in our daily lives. I'm happy to recognize with us today the participants in the 4th Annual Eva Jefferson Civil Rights Program. Yay. This program, sponsored by the Associated Student Government, commemorates the legacy of Dr. King by bringing together 90 middle school students from the Evanston area with 60 Northwestern student mentors for a discussion of civil rights issues. Let me now introduce the the Northwestern University Chorale, a highly select choral ensemble whose personnel includes advanced undergraduates and graduate musicians, almost exclusively from our School of Music. It's conducted, as I said earlier, by Professor Robert A. Harris, Director of Choral Organizations. The ensemble performs a broad spectrum of choral music, both accompanied and unaccompanied, from the Renaissance through the present day. The chorale often performs jointly with other university instrumental ensembles, including the University Symphony and Chamber Orchestras and the University Symphonic Wind Ensemble. In 2002, the chorale undertook a highly successful European tour and performed concerts in London, Cambridge, Prague, and Vienna. Professor Cheryl Milne, internationally known operatic baritone, is currently a member of our Northwestern School of Music voice faculty. Mr. Milne has performed in most of the world's major opera houses and is especially revered for his performances of roles in the operas of Giuseppe Verdi. The chorale is most appreciative of his participation in this program. Let me say a word also about the Northwestern Community Ensemble. In 1971, 3 students, Eileen Cherry, L. Stanley Davis, and Clifton Gearing, fashioned an organization to provide a spiritual outlet for members of Northwestern University. The ideas of these 3 students took the shape of an ensemble whose musical offerings range from gospel to traditional African ballads. The ensemble, once small, has blossomed, now with more than 30 members, making NCE more of a choir than an ensemble. NCE will celebrate 35 years of service in 2006, and it continues its commitment to bringing inspiration to Northwestern University and its surrounding communities. Thank you all very much for being with us, and welcome again to Northwestern's 2006 Martin Luther King Jr. commemoration.
faith in God and to believe in the moral power of righteousness, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. lit a candle whose flame grew little by little, demonstration by demonstration, and march by march, into an illuminating fire of Olympian proportions. His fire was a fire by which America came to see both the sins of its racial past and the promise of a future big enough to encompass the dreams and gifts of all. Dr. King would have been the first to acknowledge that he was only holding up a torch lit long before, a fire of faith passed on in the words of spirituals that were first sung in the time of enslavement. His ringing oratorical eloquence frequently employed phrases and images from songs that had buoyed and bolstered the spirits of those who came before him. The spirituals had a home in his heart, so it is no accident that Dr. King made his vow unto the Lord and never turned back. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. appeared on the world's stages at an hour when the darkness was deep. A people who nearly a century earlier had been freed from the shackles of slavery found themselves still bound by a myriad of unjust laws and entrenched social customs. When the most affluent society on earth sat down at the table of plenty, the sons and daughters of Africa assisted with preparing the feast and with cleaning up afterward, but they were denied seats at the banquet table. The darkness of despair rolled in like a thick fog, obscuring the path to freedom, justice, and equality of opportunity. In this climate of near hopelessness, when the incendiary mixture of fear and frustration needed only the slightest spark to ignite it into violence, a new light appeared. a young Baptist minister who had studied the nonviolent philosophy of Mahatma Gandhi and taken it to heart, saw in nonviolent resistance the tool needed to move a nation out of the perplexing maze of racial injustice and onto the simple pathway of peace. Much has been changed in the decades since Dr. King's death, although it seems at times that too much has stayed the same. It has been said that as long as he is seen chiefly as a hero for African Americans, the breadth and magnitude of his contribution will have been missed. For he came to set us all free from the suffocating effects of bigotry and intolerance. America would have little basis for exerting moral leadership in the world if it had not come so far toward the eradication of its own brand of apartheid at home. Still, many battles are yet unwon in the war Dr. King died fighting. Wherever the struggle for justice, equality, and dignity continues to be waged without recourse to bullets and bombs, his light still shines. And those today who take up the challenge of overcoming hatred with love are responding, as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. did, responding to the clarion call of the old spiritual that said, "Hold out your light, you heaven-bound soldiers. Hold out your light and let your light shine around the world."
Hold out your light, you heaven-bound soldier. Hold out your light, you heaven-bound soldier. Hold out your light, you heaven-bound soldier. Let your light shine around the world. Hold out your light, you heaven-bound soldier. Hold out your light, you heaven-bound soldier. Hold out your light, you heaven-bound soldier.
this faith, we shall be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood from every mountainside. Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring.
Is dedicated to those who have experienced struggle, as did Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The Northwestern Community Ensemble is here to let you know that you can and will survive.
No one can understand your tears.
commemorate the life and legacy of Dr. King. Let us remember the struggles he undertook, the movement he came to represent, and the way he changed the world. Let our remembering of the past inspire us to action, for there remains much to be done. May we have vision to see and faith to believe in a world emancipated from violence. Let us devote ourselves to the making of peace. Let us find the power to be gentle, the strength to be forgiving, the patience to be understanding, and the endurance to accept the consequences of doing what we believe to be right. As this celebration concludes, let us be resolved to do whatever we can to make a difference, so that together we may build a world of hope and of justice and of peace. Amen.
We're going to close the show tonight, or the commemoration, with a couple of pieces that you may know. In the name of Jesus, and victory is mine. So here we go. In the name of Jesus.